What's up, guys? Welcome back. It's draft time again. Let's jump into a big board. You guys been waiting for an excuse to do a fantasy football draft? We'll wait no longer. Let's get into another one. We're going to keep on drafting until the draft, and then we're going to keep drafting after the draft because that's just what we do. Now, we did just draft, and I think we are, well, we're not obligated, but I know I'm going to mix it up. Depending, even if I got the exact same spot, I guarantee we'll not do the same thing I did yesterday, the day before. So, what's your plan, Chris? You've gone 0 RB. I think the last couple that I've seen. Are you going to mix it up, go robust?
I usually go into the draft, any draft, with the mindset of let's see how the draft falls. I feel like I can draft multiple different ways and feel good about my team. So we'll see where I'm at, where the draft takes me. But yeah, probably I have passed a couple times on some good running back value the last two drafts. I don't think I'll do that today if the opportunity presents itself again.
Well, always the wise decision. Wait until the draft actually starts to decide who you're going to take. Yeah, I know. Like, you don't want to, and we always say this, don't want to go in saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to take this, because you just never know. I do know, based on the taste left in my mouth from last week, I don't think I'm taking Brock Bowers in round 2. But aside from that, anything goes. Let's see. All right, guys. So what we're talking about is the big board. You see there's big, bigger, biggest. Pick your flavor on Underdog. And so you go to your Underdog app. You already know. Go to the draft lobby and click on NFL, and you'll see them. If you don't know, well, download the Underdog app or go to underdogfantasy.com. And on Underdog, if you're signing up for the very first time because you don't have an account yet, well, this is a great time to do it, because when you sign up, if you use promo code ENDGAME when you check out, then you get up to $1,000 worth of bonus cash. Whatever you put in, they have a deposit match offer, and you can earn up to $1,000 of extra cash in your account. And also, you get some free picks. I know the NFL action is still a long ways away, but you don't have to just use them on NFL picks. You can use on any pick. You can do baseball. They got daily picks, basketball, hockey, golf, esports, you name it. So go ahead and get your account. Use code ENDGAME and then make a pick. You get a freebie to start with, plus the free cash. Why not? But if you're also into drafting, which we are, then here we go. I know some of y'all are waiting. Let's get to it. No more delays. Big board. We're going to join hopefully the same draft. They've been filling up quick. And yesterday, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I can't even remember. I feel like it was yesterday.
It was yesterday.
It was yesterday. All right. I feel like it was just yesterday. It was yesterday. I didn't even get on the same draft, but we did it eventually. All right. So let's go. Here we go. Big board. 30-second pick. 3, 2, 1, go.
6 more to start.
Yep.
We gotta be in the same one here.
Yeah, I'm definitely this one. Oh wow. And now it's down to 2. Yeah, this one's gonna fill pretty quickly. The last couple of drafts, I feel like the last 3 drafts I've been in like either 6 or 7. So I'm kind of hoping to get a pick toward the end. I really haven't been at the end much. I've been either beginning, like the number 1 pick, or the middle. Like, I haven't really gotten the turn at the end. So I'll mix it up too. All right, we need 2 more people. What is up? I know some of you guys are on here. It's been quiet today. What's up, Rise? Doing well.
Yep, get in the draft if you're not in there yet. Oh, looks like we're full.
All right, there we are.
So I'm right in the middle this time at the 6. You're at the 3, so we kind of switch spots from yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I can't complain about the 3. It's a pretty good spot.
Now you did mention you're not going to be going Brock Bowers in round 2. Either will I.
No.
I don't know if you saw today, Trey McBride just got signed an extension to be the highest paid tight end in history. So I put a poll on our channel. Who would you rather draft in 2025? Bowers in round 2 or McBride in round 3? How do you think it's going so far?
The poll, I bet it's probably like I was gonna say 70-30 in favor of Bowers, maybe even more.
You're right. Almost. It's 70-30 in favor of McBride, actually. It's
Is it?
67-33 in favor of McBride. Because I put in there, I didn't just say like Bowers or McBride. I said Bowers in round 2,
Right.
McBride in round 3.
But that's interesting because I feel like if you take a poll, that same poll question to the general fantasy public, like people who actually play fantasy football, right? Just in general, I bet you would be switched. But I think that does say a lot about our community. I think we look for the value, right? Not just the name.
True.
Right. Well, I'll go Bijan. Because I mean McBride, I mean he's obviously one of the best tight ends, but I still don't feel like he's got that name recognition like Bowers. I mean Bowers, even like the casual, like most casual of fans, know Bowers from college, right? Because where he came from, the SEC. You didn't really know Trey McBride until he was in the NFL. If you don't follow football as closely, you know what I mean. Bowers is known, known known in college, known coming out of college, all that. So. Yeah, McBride did get paid though.
He definitely got paid. And Geno Smith also got paid.
Yeah. Well, he's got Brock Bowers. That's
He's
good.
got Pete Carroll.
Got Pete.
Got Tom Brady. He's got Tom Brady.
Well, I guess. You think Tom Brady's gonna be giving him hints on the side?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
All right. Yeah, so I went Bijan, you went CD. Still got CD barely over like Neighbors and Sun God.
Yeah, I still have CD over those guys. I mean, we've got to feel better about Neighbors' QB situation, but like I almost wish it was just Jameis.
Oh, me too.
But Russ is, probably depending on what they do in the draft, unless somehow, even if it's Cam Ward, even if somehow they do get Cam Ward, which I doubt, you got to think Russ is starting the year as a starter. Like he's getting first crack. So, while I think that's still better for Neighbors than last year, of course, it's not as good as Jameis. Where I think with Jameis, he legitimately could be the wide receiver 1 in fantasy.
Oh, absolutely. But I still feel good enough about Russ because he can. I mean, he was actually fairly good. Got to understand, given the system he was in. I mean, he was having to take play calls from Arthur Smith, and they didn't really have a whole lot to throw to after George Pickens. You know what I mean? I think Russ actually kind of acquitted himself pretty well in his situation. So I don't feel bad if it's Russ.
No, I definitely don't feel bad. I just don't feel as good.
Lost out on JT again.
Yep. And right after saying not going to, I just went AJ Brown yesterday.
Well,
let's go Lad just to differentiate a little bit.
Which, by the way, let's get to the Caleb. Caleb's team 5 in here, by the way. So he's going to be right ahead and right behind you in this draft. He's pretty happy as a Cardinals fan.
Yeah, I mean, you should be. You definitely should be. Yeah. Oh, Jason. And then, so here's the other side of the coin. So Brock Bowers went pretty early in this one, not just round 2, but the third pick of round 2. CB saying that it feels like a smash. He's like Kelsey, and Kelsey was round 2, sometimes even a late round 1 pick, over the previous couple of years. So, I mean, do you think that's a fair comp? I mean, it could be. certainly could be. I mean, he was much better as a rookie than Kelsey was.
Yeah.
I keep saying the same thing though. Like Brock Bowers has to be that type of player if you're drafted in there. Like there's no wiggle room here. There's no margin for error when you take Brock Bowers there. Because if he's just as good as he was last year, which was still great, by the way, by tight end standards, he was phenomenal last year. If he's just that good, you're going to get smashed by at least 4, 5, 6 picks in the second round. Now, not everybody in the second round is going to smash, of course, because they're going to be busts, but there's going to be some guys in the second round that will smash in fantasy. And if Brock Bowers is just as good as he was last year, you're going to get crushed by those teams. Those teams crushed you. So that's always been my issue with Bowers in the second. It's nothing against Bowers, the player. I think Bowers is the tight end one. There's no question about that. Now I think McBride. My other issue is I think McBride is a very close second. So why not just wait around and get a very close second? Or what I really prefer to do is wait even longer and just get a hodgepodge of guys. Of course, talking best ball. If we're talking redraft, it's a little different because you can't just draft 3 tight ends and hope one goes off that week. Of course, you got to make a decision. But the real point is like Bowers because think about it. Like look at Achane last year, averaged over 20 points per game. Henry averaged over 20 points per game. Let's go Kyron here. Obviously, CMC did not. He got hurt. Drake London averaged like 18, 19 points per game. JT was the RB5. Lab McConkey down in the second half was smashing. We know what AJ Brown. Look at what JSN did. Like you're talking about guys that have like 18, 19, 20 point per game plus upside, but you're taking a tight end who again was the top scoring tight end last year at 15 points per game and hoping he makes a massive leap in year 2. I just like you have to be right with that pick. You cannot be wrong.
Yeah, there's no room for error, like you said. And I know I will say, I mean, sure, he was a rookie. Of course, he's just naturally going to make some progress in year 2. And Geno Smith is, without a doubt,
definitely
an upgrade over last year, just period. And nobody will disagree with that. Pete Carroll, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's not worse, but that doesn't inspire me. But at the very least, it's not a very overly aggressive passing attack they're going to roll out there. And they, as of right now, still don't have a running back that you can rely on. So this is all good for Bowers, right? This is good. Right. Even if they do draft a wide receiver in the first round. I still think Bowers is getting a ton of targets. But it's too early, and it's not fair to say he's the next Kelsey because – yeah, he has Brock Bowers has Geno Smith. Travis Kelce had Pat Mahomes, right? He has Pat Mahomes. And Andy Reid calling the plays. It's not the same thing. Like, it's just not. And Kelce had years of being a stud tight end before he got to that level where he was like automatic round 2, sometimes round 1 pick. It just feels like a little premature.
Yeah. And look, he could. Like I said, he could. I mean, and you highlight certainly there's a path because of the situation around him for sure. But again, like I said, like he has to do that because like if you take Brock Bowers in round 2 and let's say I take whoever, Lad McConkey, whoever I took. Hold on. Let's go Dunze here actually. Or like anybody in the second round. Just whoever, some player in the second round that's really good. Right, that ends up being awesome, like we saw last year with Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, whoever else, right? And then later on, I get, let's say, like whoever, whatever, David Njoku or somebody who's given me like, 10-ish, 8 to 10-ish points a week. If Brock Bowers is only getting you 14, 15 points a week again, and I'm getting, let's say, about like 10 points from my tight end, you're not really gaining much on me, right? You're not dominating me. You're not like, yeah, you're beating me at tight end, but it's not a huge margin. Whereas if my second round pick is getting 20 plus points per game, you know what I mean? And the guy you get where I get a tight, you know what I mean? It's just, it's the cost you're paying for where he's going versus the players around him. That's my issue. Again, nothing against Brock Bowers. He certainly could make that leap, but you absolutely need him to make that leap.
Right. And do you really want to pin all your, maybe not all, but a lot of your team's hopes and dreams on a tight end? Not really.
No.
Generally, no.
Generally, no.
Oh man. Okay, so again, this is weird because I keep staring at early QB and I don't always want to do that. I almost took Burrow because I had taken T. Higgins. I thought, well, I can wait, and then no, he's gone. But Jalen Hurts again was still there. Well, now he's gone. But
I don't understand this. Like, how is Jalen Hurts in the 5th round?
It's got to be something related to the whole banning the tush. It's got to be something related to that.
But it doesn't even sound like it. And what I was reading about it today, they're saying, okay, we're going to rewrite the ban and broaden it to where it is going to have to say, like, no players can be pushed in.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's pointless to fade Jalen Hurts because of it. Not like he becomes worthless, Oh, I can't do that, and that's it. He's a bum now. Like he'll still be pretty good in fantasy, but I understand fading a little bit. But I'm not taking Joe Burrow ahead of him because how many rushing touchdowns will Joe Burrow get you? Not too many.
2, 3.
Yeah,
I think the overreaction to the tush push. I mean, 5th round Jalen Hurts. Man.
Yeah.
This guy's been like like a top 5 QB pretty much, outside of his rookie year. And maybe he wasn't top 5 year 2. He was trending that way. I mean, the last 3 years, okay, yeah, since his rookie year, he's been QB6, QB1, QB2, QB6 points per game. He's averaged 21 or more points per game all 4 of those years. I mean, 10, even back in 2021, before the tush push or whatever, 10 rushing touchdowns. 2022, 13 rushing touchdowns. It wasn't like just the tush push.
No, definitely not the only source of his fantasy points. Yeah, I don't understand it, but other John had a good question. We're not too far from the first round, but here's a question. We were talking about Bowers round 2, but he wants to know what player in round 1 are you the most worried about? I guess who do you think actually has the most bust potential?
It's between Gibbs and Puka for me. Probably Puka, though. Just because I do worry. Like, even last year, like, Puka was good, but Puka was not round 1 good, right? He's kind of giving you, like, honestly, like Drake London type numbers, right? Like, very high floor, but he wasn't having that crazy ceiling. All right, I don't draft a lot of Monty. Let's go Monty here. Right? I mean, you look at Puka down the stretch, or you look at Puka last year. He only had 4 times he even topped 20 points per game. He only went over 25 points one time. He was giving you a lot of very, 15, 17, 17, 18, 18, like very high floor, kind of Drake London-y. Which is great. Like, I'm not knocking Puka, of course, and I think Puka is a great player. But now they just added Devontae Adams, who is gonna take more, gonna take targets away from him, or at the very least, it's gonna be like what we were seeing with him and Kupp. And Kupp was limiting his ceiling a little bit until down the stretch. But even down the stretch, when Kupp was dust, Puka wasn't putting up huge games. So I don't think Puka is going to be like a bust, but I think he's going to be the guy I'm most like you might not be thrilled with after picking in the first round, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think Puka's the one. All right, let's this. And then kind of mention, I'm not saying he could bust, but yeah, with Sun God, I'm going to keep an eye and see. You wonder with Ben Johnson gone, does that shift any? Probably not, because they have another disciple and it's the same staff basically and all that. But I don't think he's underrated. I definitely don't think he's underrated, but
Yeah, I think in PPR, I mean, again, he doesn't have, like we did kind of like Puka last year. He was giving you a very high floor, but he was lacking those. He was lacking those ceiling games. So I think we'll probably see more of the same because Jameson Williams did actually like develop into more than just a home run hitter. Of course, Laporta is still there. Of course, you have Gibbs out of the backfield. So, yeah, I'm not saying Devontae is better than Puka, but I'm saying that Devontae is better than Kupp right now. Devontae Adams last year was better than Kupp. So I do worry that we see a more balanced target share between Puka. Okay, I mean, Pickens still on the board here. Let's gamble. Like, I worry that we see more of a, instead of Puka being the clear, like we saw like in the second half of last season, Puka was clearly the number one wide receiver for the Rams. I think we could see that gap a little closer between him and Adams than we saw with him and Kupp last year.
Oh, definitely agree. And I think Puka is still at the very least early second round pick, but again, you were comparing first round picks to first round picks. I mean,
right.
Yeah, they're all going to be studs. You don't expect any of them to bust, but if someone's going to be disappointing based on their draft slot, yeah, I think Puka. And I will say, just because he was drafted in the first round in just now in this draft, Ashton Giante, I think it's still a little premature to put him in the first round. I mean, obviously, we don't know draft landing spot just yet, but I do think it matters. Even a guy like him, I still think landing spot matters.
Oh, it definitely matters. No, it definitely matters. Puka or Ladd? No, I would still take Puka over Ladd.
Yeah, well, I mean, does anybody think Ladd should be a first rounder? I don't think so.
Yeah, no, landing spot is definitely going to matter. I mean, if Genti goes to the Raiders, that's good. If he goes to the Bears, I think that's phenomenal. I think that's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
If he goes to Cowboys, that's still good. I know they don't have that elite offensive line, but it's still a good offense. And I'm not worried about Javonte Williams or Miles Sanders taking any significant touches from him. Like, he's just miles better than those guys. But if he doesn't, if he goes to what's a realistic, I don't know. I should have the draft order memorized. I feel like I've looked at it so many times this offseason. What if he goes to the Panthers at 8? Is he better than Chuba Hubbard? Yes, but is Chuba Hubbard going to disappear? I'm not so sure. What if he goes to the Dolphins at 13? Maybe they view Achane as the pass catching back and Genti as the early down back. You know what I mean? And that will limit his upside to some degrees here. What if he goes to the Cardinals? If they're hey, we're not happy with, I don't think he's going to fall that far in the draft, honestly. Or what if he goes to say the Bengals, who only have Chase Brown? Again, I don't think he's going to fall that far in the draft. And I'm not saying these teams should take him. I'm just throwing out, you never know. You never know. The NFL draft is crazy. That's one thing I've learned over the years.
We always were that team's not going to take a running back. They already have, and then they take a running back. You never.
I remember when I was saying I think the Falcons are going to take Bijan. I think the Falcons are going to take Bijan. Everybody's like, "You're crazy." Tyler Algier was so good last year. There's no way. And then he went to the Falcons.
Exactly right.
All right, don't do it, Daniel. He didn't do it. All right.
No, I don't think you were targeting Kupp again.
But I certainly think there are spots, like I said. I think if he goes to If he goes to Bears, I can certainly get behind Genty in the first round. If he goes to Cowboys, I'm probably okay with it, like the 1-2 turn. Probably same with the Raiders, because I mean I know we think of the Raiders, it's like, oh, the Raiders, but teams are gonna have to respect the passing game more with Geno Smith at least a little bit. So whereas last year they were like, oh, we don't even have to worry about the passing game. Like we still saw like Amir Abdullah, Alexander Madison, Sincere McCormick. They still had some nice games in that offense.
Yeah, they were serviceable at times. Not Zamir White. No, definitely not Zamir White.
Not Zamir White.
That did not pan out. Daniel, by the way, go back to Bowers, asking, and just a regular league, no premium here, would you trade Nico to get Bowers? He's thinking Bowers plus something for Nico.
Nah, I would not trade a young stud wide receiver for a young stud tight end in a non-tight end premium. No, I would rather have Nico.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, plus something, it depends on the plus, but I mean, straight up, still prefer Nico. Tyler Warren all day over Jonnu. I just took Jonnu. It was between him and Mark Andrews. I'm not ready to. I already talked about this. I think it was yesterday. Tyler Warren, he could go to a team that's not ideal for fantasy and dynasty. Okay, fine, but this is a best ball tournament. I don't know how many big weeks we're going to get at Tyler Warren if he winds up going to a team like the Colts or the Jets or something like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Or tight end is so. I mean, a lot of positions are so team dependent, right? Like, yeah, if he goes to a bad spot, probably not going to be the best year one. I don't love Jonnu Smith. I have my doubts about Jonnu Smith repeating what he did last year, but at the same time, like Tyler Warren goes somewhere bad. Yeah.
All right. Oh, very nice. Got Baker to pair with Godwin. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I was happy about that. I'm surprised to see like Caleb Williams, Bo Nix. And well, you took Jared Goff, I assume, because you have Jameson.
Yeah.
And I guess Bo Nix, but I mean, I guess Bo Nix because he has Sutton, but he's got Jalen Hurts. Doesn't really need Bo Nix.
But yeah, Baker dropped a lot. His ADP is 88. You got him after pick 100, so that's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, Warren is a great prospect. But I honestly, man, I don't even know if he's a better prospect than Loveland, honestly. I don't know.
Yeah, and I agree. I like Warren a lot, but situation matters. And the place that I thought would have been the best situation where I kind of assumed he might get taken was the Broncos. And now they're not taking him because they got Evan Ingram, who unexpectedly became available. And they already said he's the Joker. So, there goes that. I mean, I don't know what's the best situation for a tight end who's going to get drafted. What's a great landing spot for a tight end right here, now?
I think Chargers, one of the best spots for a tight end.
I mean, are they in the market for a tight end? I mean, I guess they could use a tight end, but are they going to take a tight end in the first round? That's the question.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. I think the Eagles, if they trade Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, that's interesting, huh? They already signed a couple of other tight ends, and they're shopping them around.
I think the Rams could be a sneaky good spot, but it wouldn't be as good as like the Chargers. Just because you have Puka and Adams there.
Right.
Jaguars a good spot, yes. Jaguars definitely need an Evan Ingram replacement.
I guess Seattle now they need something, maybe.
Yeah, Seattle would be good because I guess do they still have Noah Fant? I guess they still have Noah Fant. I don't even know.
If that matters. Don't sleep. What's up, Joshua? Joshua got some got some sleepers. Ty Felton and Isaiah Bond. Well, Isaiah Bond is known, right, coming out of Texas, but it's interesting. You know, we both follow Matt Harmon, Reception Perception, and keep on top of things and talk about Matt Golden. Well, some people are very skeptical about Golden, thinking like Bond was really the best receiver there.
Man, I'm kind of skeptical about Bond personally.
Yeah, I'm kind of skeptical of all the Longhorns, actually.
All right. Snipe me on cams. Let's just go Njoku here.
See, I do like that. Like, I'm fine with Jonnu where he goes, but Njoku that much later feels like a lot better value.
Yes, I agree.
Let's do this. Okay. Never mind. I was like, I can get Jordan Love, and then I can get Tucker Kraft as my second tight end.
Nope.
Nope. I cannot.
Nope.
Okay. Romeo Dobbs. Here we go.
I mean, I don't mind Dobbs, honestly.
No, we got to remember Christian Watson is probably not playing at all this season. You know, like everyone still wants to attach a rookie receiver to the Packers, and I don't see that happening. They need defense, especially if Jair Alexander's gone. They need help in the secondary still. Mason, Bixby, Mason. Let's just take some more tank.
Yep. All right, let's go with everybody's least favorite player. Pair him with CD.
Yeah, that's still a great stack. All right, so JC wants to know why Monty ahead of Harrison Etienne.
All right, well, I'll say I can get behind Najee over Monty, maybe. I don't mind Najee at all. I took Monty where I took him just because I haven't really drafted him at all. And I don't know, he's one of those guys I find myself, like, I don't know why, like I find myself being like, I don't really want to draft him, but he's always solid. He's got, like, I don't think this offense is suddenly going to forget about David Montgomery because Ben Johnson is gone. Like, I don't think David Montgomery is a Ben Johnson guy. I think he's a Dan Campbell guy. And Dan Campbell is still there. And Monty is still going to get plenty of run and plenty of touchdown upside, which is why I have a hard time pulling the trigger on Jahmyr Gibbs in the top 5. But I do really like Najee Harris for the Chargers. I mean, there's a clear path for him. There's nobody there. I mean, Kimani Vidal, who barely could even, like, step foot on the field last year. Like, there's a clear path for Najee, so I don't mind Najee. But, I mean, Etienne was so bad last year. So bad. I mean, so bad. Not just for fantasy, just bad. Just generally bad. And I have a hard time seeing Etienne as anything more than just like what he was last year, like the change of pace back in that offense. So I have a hard time picking. Even last year, I was out on Etienne. Now, I know last year he was going like second round, but I don't know. I can't do it with Etienne. I like his brother. I like taking Trevor with my last pick, though. I like that.
Yeah. I'd much rather spend a last round pick on the other Etienne, but that's why I'm taking a lot of tank. He was just clearly the better running back, but also actually I was really big on Tank coming out of the draft. Do you remember? I liked him for his rookie season, and he was horrible. He just fumbled and was inefficient. So, okay, I thought he's a bust. But then now last year, it's like, okay, this is what I was expecting. This is what I was waiting for. So I've been a believer in Tank. I mean, let's see. Obviously, it's up to their new coach. What Cohen thinks. Who knows what he thinks? Apparently, he thinks De'Ami Brown is like the next Justin Jefferson. So who knows? Maybe he's not the best judge. We'll see. But I'll take a chance on a guy who, at the very least, is. I think he. I mean, he basically became the 1A, not the 1B. I mean, I think he's just the 1A right now. At the very least, a 50-50 timeshare. All right. Well, good news. Nobody's drafting 5 quarterbacks, so this draft should stick.
Yes, let's hope. I probably should take some running backs here that I normally don't take, but I'm not taking Javonte Williams. Let's go. I haven't really gotten any Trey Benson either this year.
Not bad. It's funny, before that pick, I just noticed we had the exact same roster build. Though we got there slightly differently, but we're both 2-3-5-1. What are we at? 140. Spears. Actually, you know what? No, never mind. This is too early. I guess I'll take the other half to your backfield. I'll go Spears.
Yeah, it was between Benson and Spears, but I haven't gotten any Benson yet. And I took Connor yesterday, so maybe hedge my bet a little bit, take a Benson.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. So this is kind of like what I was saying with Tank. And both of us, we really liked Trey Benson last year coming out of the draft and thought he just needs the right situation. So Arizona wasn't ideal because Connor is still there. But man, he got no run. And even when he did get on the field, it didn't look that great. I mean, do you feel like he could be one of those unexpected second-year breakouts, kind of like Tank sort of was last year?
Yeah, I mean, certainly. I don't expect James Conner. Like there was like signs with Etienne, even like Tank's rookie year. You could tell they wanted Tank, but the dude could not. He was terrible and he couldn't stop fumbling, and they just couldn't put him on the field. Like you could tell they wanted to get him on the field, but it's like he was a liability. He was literally a liability. They couldn't get him on the field year one. Then last year he fixed that and he was more productive, and we saw what happened. I don't see the same thing happening with Connor because Connor's been great. Connor's been great in Arizona. But we got to remember Connor's a running back in his 30s now who's, last year was really the healthiest he's ever been in any career of his year. I know he missed like the last couple games, but really, like there's serious risk that Connor misses, games this year. So I don't know if Trey Benson can necessarily kind of take over the way Tank Bigsby did, where James Conner is just an afterthought. But I could see James Conner missing significant time this year, which would then open the door for Benson.
Yeah, that's more likely. I don't think Connor will pull an Etienne, but it was almost surprising he didn't get hurt more last year. Just expect he always does. He always misses at least like 2-3 games, and he was pretty good. But it could happen. I guess I got to pull next draft. I just have to take RJ Harvey like 3 rounds earlier because his ADP is 170. He just got taken at 148. So much for waiting.
All right, sell me on RJ Harvey.
Well, look, I'm not saying he's like my favorite number 1 RB in this draft, but I feel like he has the makeup and the the athleticism to potentially be a 3-down back because he's really good. He's got good hands. He's a pretty. I like that he can do something with the ball in his hands after the catch as a receiver, and he's got a little bit of shiftiness. You know what I mean? I feel like he can be a big play threat. So, he's not the fastest of all the running backs, pure speed. He's not the biggest, but he's like kind of that well balanced. Actually, well, I hate to say it, but he reminds me of was Trey Benson. But maybe he goes to a good situation.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I mean, there's too many rookie running backs and not enough landing spots. There's gonna be a lot of these rookie running backs are gonna be absolutely crushed after the draft.
Exactly. There's so many. He could be a starter, and then he's the number 3 guy, or at least number 2. And that's why I don't want to pull the trigger on these later rookie running backs too early, because it could be a wasted pick. But I want to take some chances. But I'm not going to draft a guy 30 picks earlier than ADP just to have him. There's no point. Well, nobody wants Keenan Allen. Do you?
I don't know. I keep saying no, but I don't know if I can say no this late. I mean, the thing with Keenan Allen is, this pick could be a complete, like, you could basically be saying, I'm just going to pass on this pick, right? If he doesn't sign with anybody, you just basically wasted a pick here. But oh my gosh, this far past ADP. All right, we'll gamble.
I mean, he's got to sign somewhere, don't you think? I mean, he was pretty good last year. So I'm sure some team will take him.
I mean, I'm sure there are teams out there that are interested, but maybe Keenan Allen is just like, nah, if it's like, nah, I'd rather just retire.
That's what I think it is. He's trying to be picky, and teams are like, no, it's okay. There's a draft coming up, and then after the chips fall, then somebody will decide that they want to.
I mean, well, the problem is, if you believe him, he said it's either the Bears or the 2 LA teams. Well, one of the LA teams has Ladd McConkey going into year 2. They're not going to sign Keenan Allen because, like, you can't put Keenan Allen was mostly a slot guy for his career, but now he's like only a slot guy. Like, you can barely, like, you can't put Keenan on the outside. And the other team just signed Devontae Adams, who also, I wouldn't say he was an only slot guy last year, but he certainly played way more in the slot last year and probably should play way more in the slot at this point of his career, especially when you have Pook on the outside. So that basically leaves the Bears. I don't think the Bears want Keenan Allen. Like, I don't think Ben Johnson and the staff, like, I don't think they're like, nah, we don't want Keenan. So what if Keenan's doing the Gronk? He's waiting for, like, I mean, but what quarterback is he waiting for? Like, he's waiting for all the Chiefs wide receivers to get hurt, and then, he'll be like this year's D-Hop, go to the Chiefs.
Well, maybe that is the plan.
I mean, whatever. Gamble on him there. It's so. I mean, what pick was that? 150 something, 160 something. All right, whatever. If Keenan Allen doesn't play this year, oh well.
Yeah, not a big deal. All right, let's go. All right. Okay. What is up? Nerd Alert. The Nerd Alert. Sorry. That's his name. I'm not misnaming. Well, no, we're not going to do another draft right after this one, but we will do another one in, I'm sure, in the next couple of days. So keep the notifications on.
Yeah, keep the notifications on. We'll definitely be doing these, and get the NFL draft coming up. After the NFL draft, we'll definitely be doing them. And we'll be pumping out more content.
Oh yeah, definitely. Daniel's not loving his draft. He said he had to auto draft a few things. His wide receiver room. You know what? Here's the great thing about this. You have so many teams. If this one tanks, it's okay.
Yeah, and auto drafting a couple picks isn't so bad.
No, well, that's true. Sometimes it turns out better. JSC, which is better? This is a tricky question. This is not exactly the same as the tight end one, but T at the 2-3 or Ridley at the 6-7. Are you out on Ridley?
Yeah, give me T at the 2-3 turn.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I know the Titans are probably going to go Cam Ward, and that will help Ridley, but I mean, he's 30 years old. I mean, really.
Well,
you got to wonder what Calvin Ridley really is at this point.
Yeah, I don't know that he is capable of being a fantasy wide receiver one ever again. But if they do take Cam Ward and they don't do anything significant at wide receiver, I don't know. I mean, I'll be in on him at that range. I wouldn't say I would take him over T, but still, I will definitely be more in on him. That's for sure. Okay.
I don't know. I drafted him the first year he went to Jacksonville. I regretted it. I didn't draft him last year. I didn't regret it. I don't think I'm going to regret it if I don't draft him this year.
No. I mean, I won't regret not having Ridley. That's for sure. MM17 says if you go receiver one, let's say you got Lamb. Are you going Ladd in round 2 or Achane?
If they're both there, I'm going Achane. I mean, unless the Dolphins do something crazy in the draft at running back.
I'd be surprised. I mean, they got Jalen Wright still, who I know he didn't do much last year, but I'm sure they still give him another chance.
Yeah, I'd be surprised too. So I'm still going Achane. I mean, the guy's a cheat code with the pass catching. So I'm going Achane. I just think he has more weekly upside than Ladd.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, but I think it's pretty close. They're both going about where they should be going.
All right, I can get one of my guys here. My guys.
Oh, another a Kane. Very nice.
I really like Damian Martinez. I think people are. I think he's got what it takes to be a very good NFL running back.
Yeah, he doesn't jump off the page at you because he's not he's more of a between the tackles guy. He can bounce it outside, but he's not a burner. But he can break tackles.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what does jump off the page is how hard it is to tackle that guy.
Yep.
And what another thing I think that really stands out that I really like about him, not just the tackle breaking, because there's some good tackle break. I mean, there's a ton of good. There's a lot of running backs in this class that do things exceptionally well. I also really like his patience and vision behind the line. Like, he will wait. Like, he has a very good understanding of how to let the block set up, kind of similar to what like Le'Veon Bell used to do, right?
Yeah.
He'll sometimes take his time in the backfield, and then as soon as the blocks are set, boom, he's through the hole.
Yes.
He doesn't have like home run speed necessarily, but he has burst through the hole, which is very important. And then it's almost impossible to bring down.
That's exactly right. He's a patient runner. He has good vision, and I think that's the most important, the most underrated thing. Okay, now I'm a slightly annoyed because this guy who already took Tucker Kraft just took 2 tight ends, giving him 4 tight ends. Obviously, I'm not getting the tight end I had queued up. Fine. Let's take more JT Sanders.
Nothing wrong with JT Sanders.
No.
I mean, who are you going to take? Gesicki?
Actually, I was going to take Komet because I'm starting to come around on him a little bit. We just talked about Keenan Allen. We got to think Keenan Allen's gone. Ben Johnson seemed to like throwing to the tight end a bit. Komet's a good receiving tight end. He was just underutilized because A, Caleb Williams wasn't great as a rookie, and B, they had 3 really good receivers. But now you're down to 2 really good receivers. And a better offensive-minded head coach who might decide to use him as a weapon. So I think Kmet might actually want to be a pretty good value here. But I like Sanders too. But I'm probably more than anything just annoyed that somebody has 4 tight ends. It's completely unnecessary.
Hey, if one tight end is good, 4 is better, right?
That's exactly right. It's 4 times as good. Oh man. Okay, Rogelio has a question. Which second year receiver? Straight trade, or I'm guessing we're talking dynasty here.
I mean, I think you have to prefer Ladd, right? Like, it's crazy to say, because if you had asked this question this time last year, you'd be like, oh, come on, this is insane. Of course it's Harrison. Like, this is insane, right? This is an absolutely insane question. But I think right now, if it was me, I would take Ladd. I think I would take Ladd.
I think I would too. I mean, the book is still not closed on Harrison as a pro player, but I don't know. I think we have to also move away from where he was drafted, move away from the hype. Look at the situation. Yeah, it's close, but I think I might go Ladd.
Yeah, and certainly I'm not out on Harrison. I think Harrison can and will get better in year 2. But Ladd was so good last year, and what can the Chargers really do at this point? Where you're like, well, Ladd McConkey's not going to get 150 plus targets. Like, even if they draft Ted McMillan, which would be a big need for them, I don't think he's going to be what they want Mike Williams or Quentin Johnston to be. He's not going to be, I don't think it matters where he lands. I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to get 8+ targets a game. So, I think Ladd is just locked into 150 plus targets, and I'm gonna take that.
Yeah, exactly. The floor might be the highest out of any second round receiver, maybe pick. As far as Ladd, yeah. I don't know we can say that. I mean, Harrison definitely didn't have a weekly floor at all last year.
Let's get some Darius Slayton moon balls from Russ.
Nice. Okay. What do we have? 3 picks left?
I have 2 picks left.
Oh.
You have 3 picks left.
I really don't have wait, do I have no rookies? Is that possible?
Wow.
All right, we got to change that. Kyle Williams getting a little buzz lately. Sure, why not? I guess I shouldn't wait on my 3rd tight end because I might get sniped.
Yeah, who's even left?
Oh, I got a special because I also now I have a rookie, but I don't think I have any Canes. So we're gonna change that too. If this guy takes the 5th tight end, then I actually might rage quit. Okay.
All
That's
right.
just as bad. MVS. Okay.
MVS. Oh, man.
There we go. One of my favorites, Elijah Arroyo.
All right. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, no. Somebody already took Restrepo. I would have taken Restrepo, but I think he's gone, right?
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah.
I just need running back to finish
Yeah.
here.
He's gone. Derek, that's a good point, Derek. It's true. Adding another good receiver takes some pressure off the other receiver, gives the quarterback more freedom, more options. So, look, again, we're not saying Puka's like not a top 20 pick or anything like that. It's just out of that range, that late first round range. I don't think he's a lock anymore. Like he was a lock, I think, as a first round pick before Devonta Adams went there. I don't think he's a lock anymore.
I mean, we know if you've been playing fantasy football for more than like 2 or 3 years, you know there are going to be first round busts. No matter how we sit here right now, and if I told you, like if I could see the future and I said player X is going to be a bust, everybody in here would be like, you're an idiot. His situation, blah, 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 and list off all the reasons why he's not going to bust. And you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But despite all those reasons, players bust, right? Players bust. Whether it's injuries, whether it's just they bust. Like if I would have told you last year Breece Hall is going to be a bust, you would have been like, you're crazy. He's a great running back. He's fully healthy now off of ACL. You know, the Aaron Rodgers, the Jets offense is going to be better. They had terrible, right? All those reasons. And you weren't wrong. But Breece Hall was a bust. He was a bust. He was a first round bust. You know what I mean? If I said Tyreek Hill is going to be an absolute one of the worst first round picks you can make, you'd be like, you're crazy. This guy is like one of the best. He's fat, right? But he was a bust.
Yep.
So there are going to be busts. No matter how, we warm and fuzzy they make us feel right now, there will be busts. It's just the way it is. So if I had to pick one right now, him and Jahmyr Gibbs would be the two. Doesn't mean they're going to. Doesn't mean I'm saying don't draft those guys. But yeah.
The most likely candidates.
But yeah, you're right. Sometimes having the receiver does help, but I also really like my receivers to get a bazillion targets.
Right. Yeah, it's generally preferred if it's the guy who's the clear number one, not kind of on par or equal with the other receiver.
Right.
Wow, you took the running back I actually was going to take. I don't have any Allen.
Yeah, I don't have any Allen either, so let's grab some here. Because the problem is I always take Trevor Etienne here, but somebody else took him. I think Caleb took him, which is fine. I have too much Trevor Etienne.
Yeah, probably.
It's gonna be really frustrating when we're streaming round 2 and 3 and Trevor Etienne isn't getting drafted.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of competition.
It's like, come on. Trevor Etienne in round 6 to the, Philadelphia Eagles. Like, oh, great.
Yeah. It'd be funny if actually you would go to the Jaguars. That's where you should go.
All right. Well, now this is different. So now Derek asking about got to pick 2. Got to keep 2. Puka, BTJ, Irving, or Kyron. I mean, I think in a keeper league, I'm keeping Puka and BTJ.
I mean, you just pick 2 out of those and it doesn't matter the draft slot or anything, then yeah, it's the first 2. I mean, Kyron's great, Bucky's great, but I think Puka trumps both of them.
Yeah, and remember, Adams might still have juice left, but for how much longer? So even if Puka is only worth say a second round pick this year, which is still fantastic, Adams might not be back next year. So
yeah, and I mean, we're debating Puka first round or not first round. I mean, nobody's as great as he was. Nobody's putting Bucky near the first round or Kyron even either. Kyron was great again last year. Those guys are both more like late second or third rounders.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you got to keep Puka and BTJ.
Say that for another time. Our draft is done. Let's see how it turned out today. You got Baker and Dak. Not bad. And there's Kyron. You went with Monty, Pollard, Benson, Damian Martinez, another Shipley, Share, and Quinn Allen. So interesting. I guess, well, it's not really anchor. I mean, Kyron and Monty is a solid RB2, and then just kind of went with some flyers there. Tell me about your RB strategy for this one.
Yeah, it feels like a solid but not exciting running back room. It definitely feels safer than my last two drafts, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Well, I mean, you do have like Benson is not a safe pick. He's an upside pick, right? If Connor gets hurt, that could be huge. Martinez, depending where he goes, Allen. So, yeah, Monty and Pollard are kind of safe, I guess you could say. But let's see the receivers. Right. This is where you make your money. You got CD, you got Ladd. Not bad at all. Okay, Godwin, Pickens, Keenan, who knows? Rolls. You like your receivers here? I like them.
I do. I think there's plenty of upside, right? CD, Ladd, Rome, Godwin, even Pickens has that weekly upside, and maybe he gets traded somewhere good, and maybe Keenan signs somewhere good. So I think there's plenty of upside here. I like the receivers.
I like it a lot too. And then tight ends, Njoku still feels like a great value. Got Strange, I like that pick, and Ferguson. It's good. I think it's pretty good. 7 running backs. Look, this is a 20 round draft for best ball. I mean, 7 usually your minimum for running backs. Okay. I don't love drafting 3 quarterbacks, but I didn't feel like Goff was like going to carry the torch all year. So I think Goff, Love, and my first year of Sam Darnold because I had JSN.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Again, this 20 round format, I think 3 quarterbacks is totally viable.
Yeah. I did not get to stack with Jordan Love because everyone kept taking Packers. That's fine. So I sort of went Anchor, went Bijan, Najee, Tank, Spears, Garindo, I love Jalen Wright, and finally a rookie running back.
I like it. Bijan should be a stud, and then like Najee, Tank, Tajay gives you some, decent floor with upside, and then Garindo, obviously, if something happens to CMC, right? We'll see. I like it. I like that running back room.
Yeah, again, I feel like this draft, our running back and receiver strategies were actually pretty similar, although I do like your receivers better. I kind of went more with the spike week guys, right? So JSN, T. Higgins, JMO, which it feels weird to draft him inside the top 50, but let's try it, right? I don't think I had taken him yet, maybe once. Same thing with a guy like Addison, Ayuk, Diami Brown. So I don't necessarily have a ton of stud receivers. In fact, I have a lot of number 2 kind of guys here, but maybe enough weekly upside.
Yeah, you have plenty of spike week upside for sure. And if Brandon Ayuk gets back and healthy, this could be a very good wide receiver room. So I don't hate it. I think maybe, it's dice rolls. Maybe I would have preferred one more wide receiver and one less running back for this build, but I don't dislike your wide receiver room at all. I think it's great.
All right. And then maybe don't love the value on Jonnu. I think he's fine. I got Sanders and Royer to back him up. So, yeah, I feel like this was a little more balanced, right, for both of us as far as the build, the roster construction, but that's the way it went. All right. Appreciate all you guys, especially those of you who jumped in there with us, like always. We're going to do another one, so don't worry if you didn't get to jump in this one. Just make sure you got notifications on, so that way when we do go live and draft, you can be ready. If you haven't done this yet, or if you're watching this back later, don't know what this is all about, or you want to try it out because it looks fun, it is. And you have a chance to win lots of money. So take advantage of those pre-NFL draft values on those rookies and other veterans. It's a good time to draft, trust me. So if you haven't tried it, go to Underdog. And when you sign up for the first time, use code ENDGAME because you get bonus cash in your first deposit, but also a free pick. And that's important because it's free. You use that and you get a free automatic win on a pick, and combine it with any other pick, you can start winning money right away. The picks are quick, easy, and fun for any sport, even if it's not NFL. Plenty of choices. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you again soon. Thanks for joining us.